church trauma does not define who Jesus Christ is as a whole. In my opinion, I've dealt with my fair share of church trauma, but that shouldn't, make you run away from Jesus just because of what men do in the church, of how a pastor or whoever is in the church that caused you any trauma is what, that's not what reflects Jesus, in my opinion, because Jesus was meek, Jesus was humble, Jesus really showed the fruits of the Spirit, kindness, patience, self-control, forbearance, all those things that really make a Christian complete. In my opinion, if you do not have those qualities as a Christian, then you should strive to work for those things. But the difference is, I'm not saying I'm sinless. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I turn from all my sins. Like all these idiots on freaking Instagram and YouTube, like that's what people are so confused about. Like they're like, okay, well, is it saved by grace through faith or is it turn from sins for eternal salvation? Which one is it? And I feel like that's what the church really pushes. It's like a mixture of both. They're saying two things that can't be the same thing. Does that kind of make sense? So church trauma should always be looked at as kind of like a grain of salt. Like you shouldn't think too much about it just because that person reflects a certain level of arrogance or pride or, misleadership or whatever. Whoever put them in that position, that doesn't mean anything. Just because a pastor is a pastor doesn't mean they should have been a pastor. You know what I mean? They're just a pastor, and that they might look at church as a business, and that's it. So I feel like you should really follow Jesus on your own. You should just really try to seek after him to your best of your ability on your own without getting involved in a church if it's not right for you. If you're just going to a church out of convenience because you want to say you're going to a church, then I feel like that's not the right way to go about it. I mean, you shouldn't just pick up your Bible. You shouldn't just do anything in life just because it's a routine, it's mundane. No, you should do things with each purpose having its own greater meaning. So my advice to you guys, do not let your church trauma stray you away from Jesus. Do not let the church define who Jesus is. Because the church, yes, though it is important, churches have been corrupted with greed and money and establishment, with business in mind, without Jesus in mind first. It's about money. It's about production. It's about songs. It's about people in the seats. It's never about Jesus anymore. So remember that. Church trauma does not define who Jesus Christ is. God bless.